Hello, welcome to Board Game Opinions. My name is Jonathan Hicks, and today we are looking at another Hanabi commentary. We are playing here on Board Game Arena. It's me and a couple of friends, Matt and Steve. And I recommend you watch the previous two videos in this commentary series first, where I've introduced the Dynamo system, how it works, how you can potentially stop people from playing cards when they've been clued on a whole set of cards, because that's one key feature of the Dynamo system, is that when you're clued on a set of cards, you carry on playing all of them. Which in general is very efficient. We get a lot of cards played for very few clues in this system. And this is just another example, nothing particular to highlight here other than just it's an interesting set of clues. I'll talk you through what's going on and explain what all the different clues mean. So if you want to try this at home, you can play the Dynamo system yourself. Apologies for a couple of the graphical things around the edge of the board at the picture. I pulled this off Matt's stream, which is why I've had to obscure a few graphical things. So we're missing some of the clues here, but otherwise, hopefully you can see this. Now, we have joined just after the start of the game here. So I was clued, I think, on 3 of my ones and played the first one. It was a blue one. Matt has also been clued on one of his ones. So we will pick up the stream here and see what happens next. Now it was Matt actually gave the clue to me. I made me play my ones. Steve then realised that Matt's one was different colour from my ones. So Steve clued Matt on his one, he played his. Steve then clues Matt on the 2. That's obviously just a straight play clue. He's going to play that 2 when it comes around to him. I'm going to carry on playing my ones. Remember, in the Dynamo system, you play ones from right to left. The ones in your starting hand at least. So I play the white one and then I'll be playing the yellow one on my next turn. Matt's just going to play his 2. Steve's got an interesting hand though, look at these. He's got a 1-2 in multicolour. That might be handy. And he's got the yellow 2 that would match my yellow 1. He's discarded because there's nothing else he can see that can be clued. There might be an argument for saying that he should have given a non-play clue at that point. We're not always strict about that. If he had a 5 on the end, I think we would have warned him by that point. We've had quite a few cards being played. So I just play my 1. Matt can then clue. Oh, and Steve's drawn the red one as well. So it's a very nice clue. Steve will play the most recent one, and when it comes back to him, he will play this card and then this card. He just plays them all in order. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of the Dynamo system. You just keep playing. You might be surprised how often that happens, but because of the way the cards come out, it's very often the case that you can get several cards played with one clue. I've just discarded the blue 4 in the end. We need to keep an eye on those 4s that have been discarded. They might be important. Matt does not want to clue Steve because he wants him to carry on playing. Do I have anything that's playable? I've got the yellow 2. So Matt could clue me on that one. The difficulty here is if he gives me a clue of 2, it's going to highlight both the 2s, and the second one will not be playable because Steve is going to be playing his. If he clues me on yellow, again, both of those 2s are going to be highlighted because multicolours get clued whenever you clue colour. So in either situation, that is going to be difficult for Matt to get me to play that 2. The best way to do it is with a finesse. If Matt was holding the yellow 3 and he just discards, Steve might clue Matt on his yellow 3 and that would tell me, yeah, so he's obviously opted for that. If Matt has the yellow 3, Steve, rather than playing, will actually clue Matt on the yellow 3, which tells me to play my yellow 2, and then you don't need to, oh, look at that, as if by magic. So that avoids him having to give a nasty clue where he's cluing something else that can't be played. So that's one of the ways you can avoid cluing multiple cards when they can't be played. So Steve will just come back and play those red cards later. I played my yellow 2 because it was finessed. Matt's obviously holding the yellow 3. Oh, he's not. Right, now, I remember this. This is interesting. So, you might think that was a mistake, but actually that was a deliberate misfire, if you like, on Steve's part. Steve gave those clue 2 3s, and the first one that Matt tried to play was the green 3. Now, the green 3 is not playable, so I look at it and go, oh, Matt can't play the green 3, so I must have the green 2, and I play my card, except it's not the green 2, it's the yellow 2. Matt doesn't realise that, so he plays and he misfires. Now it doesn't really matter yet, and with Advanced Hanabi, you need to see the misfires as a resource, yep? You can make 2 misfires in the game with no penalty whatsoever. The third misfire is obviously catastrophic because it kills you, but you need to potentially use those misfires in certain situations to get you out of difficult spots. Steve did not want to give, like, both of them can see the difficulty with cluing my hand in that situation. And for whatever reason, he decided it was more important to get that yellow 2 played and for Steve to misfire and lose the green 3 in order to get me to play the yellow 2. But in our system, this other card is still playable. Okay, so even if multiple cards are clued, you play the first one and it misfires, you still carry on playing. Okay, and you've got to trust the person who gave the clue knows what they're doing. All right, let's pick up the game again and see what happens next. So Steve should be playing his red card, the multicolour one, his next red clued card, if you like. Although I've just picked up the white 2. So again, he's looking for a finesse here. If Matt has... Okay, he's not clued. Matt knows that's either the yellow or the blue 3, because it should be playable. He may not elect to play it at this point, because I've got the white 2 and we might want to get that played. But he knows it is still playable, even though he's misfired. That is not a mistake, it was deliberate. I've discarded, which again, I guess is further confirmation that Matt should just be playing. Steve's got the red 2, that might be useful. Yeah, I think he's just going to play it. There he goes. It was the yellow 3. All right. And then Steve, rather than playing his next red card, he knows he can carry on playing it at this point. But he's clued 2s. Now, that's actually rather dangerous on Steve's point. I'm not sure I agree with that clue because he doesn't know that he's got a 2, and it could be a 2. He knows it's a playable card, and it's red or multicolour. So we know it's either a red 2 or a multicolour 2. But he's clued me on 2s. Now the first one is fine because that can't be, obviously it's a white 2. He knows that's not the red or the multicolour one. This second one is the multicolour one though. So at this point, somebody needs to save the situation because we both think that these cards, the multicolour 2s, are playable and we don't want to both play them or we will misfire, and that would not be correct. That would be a mistake. So we'll see what happens. So at this point, one of us has got to be told to stop playing. And we do that by cluing. And so Matt clues me, which tells me not to play this 2 on the end, but instead to play the most recent card, the 3. So Steve carries on playing his card, and it works out well. So I play my white 3, comes back to Matt. What have we got that's playable? We've got the red 2 in Steve's hand. Those N2 cards are safe discards for Steve. He's picked up the red 5, that's fine, that might need saving later. I've got the green 5 in my hand, that's also fine for a while. This 2 I know is a safe discard because I was told to stop playing it, so it must be a duplicate. Matt just discards, he can't see anything worth cluing here. I mean, Steve has the red 2 and I've got the blue 3, but again, we're potentially looking for finesses. Right, now I'm just going to pause this. Steve gave Matt the clue of 4 in the end. Now, in general, number on the chop means save. So Matt has just, in fact, he's hovered over. Let me just play it slightly to get rid of those. Yeah, you can see his cursor there scrolling through all the different 4s. Matt is trying to work out which 4 it is. That will not be a playable 4. He knows it's not going to be the yellow 4. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but in general, he's not going to try and play it. He's going to save that 4. And it's going to be because we've already lost, chances are, one of the other 4s. Now, we've actually lost a ton of the 4s. In fact, we've lost almost every 4 in the game. Good job there's 2 of each. So that really doesn't tell him very much about his 4s. He knows it's not a green 4. Okay, that's about all he knows at this stage. And it's probably not a yellow 4, but we'll see. So that was a save clue. Now we've had a chance to finesse. Yeah, Steve had the chance to finesse my blue 3 if the blue 4 was in Matt's hand. I mean, it might be that that's the blue 4 on the end, but Matt will not be playing it. It's too dangerous. Unless I can... Ooh, I wonder if I can see that it should be a finesse. I might be able to work out that it's a finesse based on Matt's hand. No, okay, so that's not a safe play. So I just clue Matt on his 2, and he plays it. So Matt and Steve both had the red 2, so only one of them really needed cluing. Steve's other 2 then becomes a safe discard for him, which is nice. And Steve's clued red. Okay, so first of all, appreciate that means play. So Matt is going to be playing the most recent red card. And we wondered what colour this 4 on the end was. It's either red or multicolour. Remember, it could be a multicolour card. So yeah, this first one could be a multicolour card as well. And oh, I've clued. So I'm just pausing this because I've clued Steve on the yellow 4. Now that's just a straight play clue. You can see the yellow 4 can be played. So there shouldn't be anything dodgy with Matt's hand. He should just be able to play. Okay, so that's the yellow 3. Now, yeah, we'll talk about what Matt's going to do when it comes back to him. In theory, he won't try and play the next red card. Yep, so this card here, he is not going to be trying to play next, because as far as his clues say, this is the red 4 and it should be played next. Now, it might be the multicolour 4, yeah, and it might be that this one is the multicolour 3 and he should play them in order. But he's not going to assume that. In general, you play the core cards in the order that makes sense from the clues that you know about. So he plays the first one, but then, because that was the 3, he should go back and play the 4. I think so. This is a tricky situation, actually. We'll see what happens. One of us might warn him if it's something other than that. Because it could be the multicolour 3 in Matt's hand, and then the red 4 or the multicolour 4. I sort of feel like Matt needs another clue here to make this clear. We'll see. Steve's drawn the multicolour 4 though. That's interesting. That's very interesting, and that actually helps sort out quite a lot, because you'll notice we've discarded a multicolour 4. So this multicolour 4 here tells Matt that his card on the end is not the multicolour 4, so he knows it's the red 4. So he will definitely not be playing the other red card. He will play the 4 on red card on the end, because he knows for sure now it is the red 4 and not the multicolour 4. Steve doesn't realise that. Steve might be panicking at this point, particularly if I just discard. But Matt will play the red 4. At least he should do. So I'm looking around. I've clued 5 on Steve. So effectively I'm telling Matt, play the red 4. I mean, he was going to play it anyway, but that's particularly so because Steve has the red 5 and we get the clue back. That's great. So that's kind of sorted that mess out. I must admit at this point, whether or not Matt then comes back and plays that other red card, I'm not sure. I would be a bit hazy on that point myself. Technically, I suppose, given our system, he should come back and play it. So if we want him to do something else, we should give him another clue. We'll see. It could obviously be the multicolour 3. Can't see any other multicolour 3s. Yeah, so I've given him a clue which essentially tells him to stop playing. Yeah, clue on the chop means save, and although there are 2 5s, one of them is on the chop, so he should take it as a save clue. He knows for sure that 5 on the end is a multicolour 5, so it can't be played. The other 5, it could be the yellow 5, but Matt should not play it. Okay, clue on the chop means save. He was going to play this card. We've stopped him from playing it, so he shouldn't just start playing this other card in the hope it might be the yellow 4. He should just keep it for later. If it's the yellow 4, we can clear him again later. Or we could finesse with something with the yellow 4 when it comes... Oh, we actually, no, forget that. The yellow 4 is already out. We could just clear it later if we need to. So Matt clues Steve on his blue 3, which is a straight play clue. He draws the red 3, which is useless. Steve's hand is mostly useless. He's got the multicolour 4, though. He needs to remember that. Matt's the card I'm hovering over there. Sorry, that Matt's hovering over. I will double hover it. This one is Matt's next discard. Okay, I've just discarded, so that card must be safe for Matt to discard. I've got nothing playable in my hand, so Matt should just be discarding that card. There he goes. So now we're looking very much at what Matt's drawn. In each case, when you get to this kind of stage in the game, you're looking for finesses. Yeah, every time somebody, because pretty much all the cards in our hands aren't playable. So we're just looking for potential finesses. As soon as somebody draws a card, everyone should be looking at it and going, can that card be finessed? It's very much the way you want to approach it. because the newest drawn cards are the only cards that are going to be playable. So we just keep discarding until somebody draws something that can be played. But the key thing is when it's drawn, you don't look to clue that card, you look for the finesse. That's the best way of getting those out. Oh, and here it is. So I've clued the blue on, let me just pause this. I've clued blue on Steve's card, yeah. That's the multicolour one. I've picked blue because he's got no other blue cards in his hand. That's how you do that. That card is not playable, and it's because Matt must have just drawn the multicolour 3. Steve can see that. Matt can see it's not playable, so he must know he's drawn that. So Matt will play his most recent card, it's the multicolour 3, and then Steve will play the multicolour 4. They've both just drawn new cards, though. Steve's is useless. Maybe Matt's isn't. Again, if Matt has drawn a playable card, I'm looking for the finesse if it's available. If not, then I just discard. I've clued yellow. Okay, so that effectively you can ignore the most recent card on the end, on the first card here, because the only, if you clue yellow, the only cards that could be played that could be potentially yellow are the yellow 5, obviously, or the multicolour 5. But he already knows now because of this clue. Well, he knew from earlier, I think, but he knows this is the multicolour 5 on the end. So he knows this yellow card at the start is definitely not playable. So you can ignore that. He's not going to do anything with that. But it does mean he can play this yellow card and he can play that multicolour card. You might wonder why I didn't just clue 5s. That's another option. I could have just clued 5s and Matt would have just played both those 5s, yellow one first and then multicolour one. Cluing yellow, though, also tells them this first card is a safe discard. So it might be that Matt has something else in his hand that we don't want to lose, and that's the reason I've opted to go for a yellow clue rather than a number 5 clue. So Matt should just be playing his yellow 5. Don't think there's anything else to be done. No, I mean, I've got the green 5 in my hand, but we really need the green 2. We are struggling in this game with the green suit because we've not had a green 2 yet. The other slight danger is the green 3 has been discarded. So if the green 3 is near the bottom of the deck, we could struggle. So I don't think... yeah, Matt is clearly not thinking about anything important at this stage. Given what he can see, he's just going to play. It doesn't matter which of those 5s he plays, really. He should play the yellow one, but he may have just stepped away from the computer momentarily. He should get back to playing in a second. He's played the multicolour one. Who knows why? Doesn't really matter. But you should play the most recent one first. Okay, so Steve's drawn the the white 5. I'm discarding. Matt should just play the yellow 5 now. There's nothing else you can clue. Where is that green 2? Steve's discarding, so Matt's obviously... There's the blue 5. We're missing the blue 4. Notice we are not short on clues. We never tend to be short on clues. Now I'm thinking, what am I thinking about? Yeah, all right, so I've clued blue on Steve's 5, which means Matt must have the multicolour 4. Steve will have seen that, but still chose not to clue it because the finesse might be available, and it was available, so Steve made the right decision there. Oh, but hang on. No, right, so that is a bluff. Okay, let me just pause and be very clear about that. Everyone was expecting that to be the blue 4 because of my clue. But when Matt plays the 2 green, he was expecting it to be blue 4, and it wasn't. It was the green 2. However, Steve knows that Matt thought that that was the blue 4. Yeah. So because he played and I clue blue, the missing card is a blue 4. Matt thought he had the blue 4, which lets Steve know that his card must be the blue 5. Yeah. So there's no doubt about what Steve's got. You might think, well, hang on, maybe Steve's going to play at this point. That blue card is not playable. But because Matt thought it was a finesse, he played the most recent card. Steve knows it's not playable. It was the wrong most recent card, but it was still playable. So again, with one clue, we're getting the green 2 played, but we're also telling Steve exactly what card that is. So when the blue 4 finally does come up later, he can just play that card. He doesn't need to be clued on it again. And he's discarded. He has not played the blue 5. That would have been bad. So yeah, that's just a bluff, it's called. When you finesse a card and it's the wrong card, it's not the card they're expecting. As long as you're careful with it though, they can work out nevertheless what card they have in their hand and hopefully know not to play it. Generally with a bluff, you are not playing the card after you finesse the one card out. You don't play the second card, you just hang on to it and remember, I've got the blue 5. Bank that one for later. Steve's drawn the green 3. Is there a finesse available? Probably, because I've clued Matt. Matt can look and see the green 3. He will not play that 4. Yeah, that would be madness on his part if he played the 4. Even though 4s are playable. I mean, you might think, well, it could be the blue 4 or the white 4. Because Steve has the most recent, has the 3, green 3 in the most recent spot, which is a playable card, you have to expect it to finesse. So Matt should just discard. Oh, he's not. He's cluing my 5. He's clued green to make it clear that it's a green one, because he knows that I've just clued the green 4 to finesse Steve's 3. So I'm discarding. I'm not playing that green card because I can see the green card is in Matt's hand. So Matt plays the green 4, and when it comes back to me, I can play the green 5. So that was very nice, really. Steve's just clued 4 on the white 4 there. He's actually holding the 5, so the finesse is not possible there anyway. We're running quite low on cards, you see, so we do need to get these played. We've only got 5 cards left now. And we're still waiting for the blue 4, and I've just drawn it. Fantastic. So Matt, I think, is going to clue me. He could clue 5s on Steve. That would be better. Yeah, there we go. Because that tells Steve, you can see all the 5s are playable now, except for the blue one. So Steve knows that he can play the other 5. And it also, because he's clued the cards telling him to play, he's effectively telling me to play my blue 4. Yeah, it's a finesse. Steve wasn't entirely convinced by Matt's clue, though, I think. And clued blue on me. I think actually there's an argument there for saying that I don't know for sure that I can play that most recent card. Because Matt was cluing the blues and the whites, and Steve knows the blue can't be played, so he's going to play the white card. Anyway, we're playing all the cards now because it's fairly straightforward. Everything can be played. We play them all. And that should be it. There we go. 30 points. It almost looks easy, doesn't it? All right, well, we will finish there. So it's not always easy. And we do potentially, in some games, we make lots of mistakes. Okay, so I've shown you a few games in a row now where the play, I think, has been flawless. I don't think we've made any mistakes. There have been a couple of slightly dodgy clues, maybe, but they're just good illustrations of how the system works. When people don't make mistakes, the system works incredibly well. And hopefully you've got the gist of that over the past few videos. All right, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.